and it's with great pleasure that I give you this presentation of the bronze statuette, which is an indication that the Academy, as well as the entire industry, consider that you've produced a real, epic, and fine achievement.
And the Oscar goes to Titanic,
Braveheart,
The Shape of Water,
Ben-Hur,
Slumdog Millionaire,
Rocky,
Lawrence of Arabia,
Schindler's List,
Oliver. It's a clean sweep. The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King.
Thank you very much. It's been a wonderfully exciting evening.
I want to thank the Academy. This is truly an honor.
Strength and honor.
Thank you. I will drink until next morning.
and the Oscar for Best Picture is presented to...
Hello and welcome to All the Best Pictures, which is the podcast, I guess it's going to be, where me and Jack discuss all of the Oscar winners for Best Picture, starting with the 1927 Best Picture winner, Wings, which is what we're doing today. And we've just watched it. I think you literally just finished it.
Yep, I just finished it.
I watched it like yesterday. Well, I watched it 2 days ago, the first half, and then after the intermission, I watched the rest of it yesterday. And yeah, it's a silent film. It's a war film. It's basically about... The plot is two men, Jack and David, go off to... They're Americans and they go off to fight in the First World War in 1917 because that's when they joined the First World War. And they're both in love with a girl called Cynthia who's like... Is it Sylvia? It's Sylvia.
Sylvia.
Yeah, Sylvia. And she's like this rich, classy lady. But it turns out there's another lady, the sort of girl who lives next door to Jack, is also in love with him, Mary. And she's the sort of like the Eponine type character from Les Mis. Like she's in love with him, but he doesn't notice her. And they do the thing which they do in like loads of... We're going to do spoilers, by the way.
Yeah,
but they do the thing which like loads of films do, where it's the person they should be with is under their nose the whole time and all that. It's same with Rushmore. I watched that recently. They do that all the time in films. So they've got a sort of love triangle, love square thing going on, and they just become airmen fighting in France in the First World War. And this was filmed in 1927, and it's set like 10 years earlier. But what did you think about that? The accuracy. I mean, I thought they all looked like they were very 20s. Like the women had all the incredibly 20s aesthetic.
And is that what they were going for? I don't know where the fucking...
Well, I don't know. I just feel like they weren't really paying any attention to accuracy. It was more just
I thought the like soldiers looked fine and all the fucking war shit looked fine.
I thought that.
I thought that looked
like
really
regular
good.
Men, like they kind of look the same as you would today. It's more like the women have like the really stupid hairstyles and the terrible eyebrows. And...
I really don't know like what era like you're supposed to look like. So I'm the wrong person to ask. I have no good idea.
Well, yeah, because you thought this film was from 1947 until I told you before we started filming that it was actually 20 years earlier.
Exactly.
It's a silent film.
Yeah, but I just wasn't thinking. I just weren't thinking. I thought maybe they wanted, they wanted to be like, oh, let's be cool and do a silent film in 47. Why not? Why not?
Well, is this the first silent film you've ever seen?
I think I may. I've seen scenes from I think probably like Charlie Chaplin or whatever. Does he even do films or does he do shorts or something? I don't fucking know. I literally don't even know.
Yeah, he did features. Yeah.
And
so
then,
I've seen a Laurel and Hardy film that was silent. But I think that's it. I don't think I've seen anything else. I just always felt like... I always hated the idea of like silent films. Whenever I've seen clips of it, it's like horrible plinky music and it's a faff having to read the words. And I feel like it's really hard. I tried to watch Nosferatu last Halloween and I literally just couldn't get past it.
Well...
But I thought this was fine. I literally got used to it so quickly.
No, I thought it was terrible. Well, no, I think it just takes all like... It just spells everything out so fucking... obvious, like it's like the first shot, one of the first shots of the film, you've got Jack just looking up at the sky being like, oh, he wants to be a pilot. You get this like he wants to be a pilot and all that, and then like later on in the film when he's going on his first patrol or whatever and he's like, oh, this is Jack's always wanted to do this, he can't wait to fly. He goes, I already know this, why are you giving me text about something I already know about the character? You're explaining something I shouldn't need to. Yeah, they have to be very expositional, and they have to. There's a lot of narration throughout. Yes.
But I feel like I I don't really have an issue with it because I know that they had no other choice.
Yeah,
I think
true.
I'd have a problem if you were doing this voluntarily, but when they literally couldn't have done audio, I think they kind of did it in the best possible way. I don't know.
I do. I think it was okay.
But it's like I resisted watching subtitled like foreign films for a long time, and then I watched it, and you do get used to it very quickly. I feel like I don't know. To me, it just felt like reading a book, but I also had some visuals to look at.
Yeah, I guess kind of.
I thought it was fine, and I also listen to audio dramas as well, and so I feel like you kind of get used to. You just get used to different ways of watching stuff. So I know we're still trying to work out the formula of, I don't know how these podcasts are going to go because this is the first one and everything. But I think basically, I just want to ask you to start off with, like, what did you think of the film? Without giving too much away, did you like it?
For me, until the first intermission, I was enjoying it. I was captivated. I was enjoying it. I was watching, didn't take my eyes off the screen. Was having a blast, having a good old gay old time. And then that intermission hit, and I was like, do you know what? I don't even, normally I just sit through the intermission and go, do you know what? I'm going to continue the rest of the film. But this time I was like, I'm going to take a little break, might go do something for, 10, 20 minutes, come back. I came back, and then the next probably 25 minutes, I hated like every second for a good 25 minutes, which really ruined my experience for the rest of the film. But other than that, I do think if it's a 1927, I feel it was really like some of the stuff they did is very good. I feel like it looks very good. I think
that's exactly the same opinion as I have. I think I was really pleasantly surprised by the first half. I thought I'd be like, I don't know if I can get into silent films. I'm not sure. I was a bit unconvinced, and I was like, you know what? That was actually really good. I enjoyed that a lot. And then I think it was a really bad start to the second half.
Yeah, it was very bad.
There's stuff in like the clubbing. I mean, there was that great show. We'll get into it. We'll get into it later. But I think it got back on its feet. I think it ended well.
But, I did think it ended well as well. But that middle bit really.
Overall, I definitely really liked it.
I think I liked it.
See how for the time it's impressive.
I think
it's like the war stuff looked great.
All the effects I thought the effects looked really good. Like the
absolutely. I mean, just how real it is. It's like all the planes flying in the sky and all the explosions going off, and they had to time it all perfectly. And all
tanks,
the hundreds
the bullet
of
holes. I loved the bullet holes. All that. Every time they did bullet holes, I thought that looked great as well.
Yeah.
And then I didn't get the planes on fire in the air. Like, was the fire real, or the smoke looks really real?
No, the smoke one. Yeah, they drew on the fire.
I was going to say the fire looks fake as hell, but the smoke looks really good. I need to go
into this actually. Yeah. I never mentioned. So this was heavily restored by Skywalker Sound and everyone. And so so all of the audio is replicated. It's not actually how it was. It's not the original audio.
Okay.
And they also, I don't know about the effects. I think maybe they redrew them, but I know it's exactly recreated how it was. I'm not sure about the colours though, because it's sort of orange or blue throughout.
Yeah, there is.
Which they did do at the time. Like Nosferatu does that, and it looks a mess. But I don't know if that's a new thing or if it's original. I think they probably did it at the time. But no, it's all the sound is recreated. Because I was thinking like all these engines and all these gunshots are so perfectly in time. I was like, why don't they just record? Why don't they just do it as ADR?
No, I was thinking that as well. Yeah.
But then I looked. Then in the intermission, I looked up and I saw that it's not original audio. So it probably wasn't that in time originally. Because I was thinking like, why didn't they just do like Robert Rodriguez's first film? He was really amateur. He couldn't record on set. So he couldn't do it at the same time. So he just got them all to ADR every line. But like they just memorized how they delivered the line, and they just said it the exact same. Yeah. And it managed to sync it up well enough in the edit. And I don't know why they didn't just do that. Like, get a microphone on the location, and after they've filmed it, I don't know. I don't really know why they couldn't have. I don't know. There must have been a reason. I mean, it's early technology. It's 1927. The next best picture if they managed to get sound working.
Okay.
But no, I was going to say I thought those looked great. All the war scenes on the field. Definitely. Although I know that there was the director, they rehearsed it loads because the explosions couldn't be hitting people on that, and someone distracted the director when he was pressing the buttons, and he pressed the wrong one, and it blew someone up. It blew up like 2 people. But they weren't killed, but like, they were like injured by it. Really.
It looked really hectic. Seriously. Some of the battles were hectic as hell. Like just people, extras running fucking everywhere, like just running everywhere.
I thought, like, are they using stock footage? Is this actual war footage?
Yeah. No.
I don't think it was, but like, because there also some bits in the plane. There was definitely a difference in picture quality. Some bits were grainier than others. Like the bits on the planes were quite grainy. So I thought, like, is some of this actual real footage? But no, I don't think it was. So in that way, I feel like it's impressive. Same as I felt with watching Battle of Britain or watching Dunkirk, where like it's real. It's a lot more interesting than if it's all CGI. I feel like you just have no investment in it. Like this is like wow, like I'm actually watching some like movies are meant to be. You watch things you would never normally see in your life, and so you can see why people like this is impressive for now, whereas most things of back then, like I can see why it was impressive then, but now it's nothing. This is genuinely like
I was literally thinking,
wow.
I do like Dunkirk in 1917 and all that. Like those movies you just watch just to see like how war is and what it is like. And they're definitely the best parts of this film were the war parts. They were the most exciting and the most entertaining, I feel.
Although I had the same problem with the dogfights as I have with I think Top Gun was a big thing too. Like I could never really tell who was who.
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
So like they cut to the close. I mean, it wasn't as bad as remember in that Game of Thrones episode. Oh wait, you never watched it. Well, you didn't watch the last season, did you?
I saw parts, but like I didn't.
Well,
actually
like
watch it on my own.
the episode, the big battle episode, which was really dark. There's like a dragon fight, like 2v1 dragons, like Jon, Daenerys, and the Night King are on dragons, and it's so dark, and it's just kind of close-ups and wides, and you don't have a clue who's who. This was like that. It was kind of like they'd show us the close-up of the person riding, and as if that helps the person like driving the plane or whatever, as if that helps to tell what's really going on. I did find it quite difficult, but then again, there wasn't really much they could do about that. So I didn't find myself that invested in the dogfights particularly. Some of them look cool.
Yeah, but like, I feel that's just like what can you do at the time as well? Because I was remember thinking like just before like a dogfight would happen, like the text would come up saying like they're about to have a dogfight because the German gets the American, and I'm like, I don't like to be told what's happening. I want it to be shown, but then like I don't even think they could at that time show it that well. Like, it was hectic what I was seeing. I didn't even know which side was who. Like half the time in the dogfights, especially. It was just planes
I thought it felt like a video
around.
game.
Yeah, it was just
like
planes going around.
Because I was playing Battlefront 2 before, and it literally like when it says victory on the screen, it looks exactly the same.
No, when that came up, I was like, what is going on?
It literally looked like I was playing Battlefront 2, and when it says like whatever it was, German 2 killed American 2.
Yeah, it was literally like a video game, 100%. That's what it was like.
But I thought that it was definitely very realistic, and the reason for that, I don't know how much you know, but it's directed by William A. Wellman, who was in the American Air Force like 10 years earlier in the First World War. So that's kind of, I mean, I think like, you know, Martin Scorsese says like the most personal is the most creative, and I think you can definitely tell that. Like this is clearly, it comes from he's clearly knowledgeable on it. He's got real stories. He knows how to visualize it because he's lived it. And so I think that's why it worked really well. Although this director's his most famous thing is probably A Star Is Born. He wrote and directed the original Star Is Born.
I've never
and he's done loads of stuff. He said he wanted to do like every single possible thing in his career, and he did. He did like every genre. And then I think he just quit Hollywood in the end because like no producer liked him. Because for stuff like this, he just wanted to go insane, use way too much budget, and just wreck everything. I know the producers were really angry that he just wrecked like loads of planes.
It looked
and he wasn't
great.
even invited to the Oscars because the producers hated him so much.
That's crazy.
He wasn't
That's so insane. Oh god, I hate stuff like that. But
the first ceremony only lasted 15 minutes, and it was $5 entry.
I was gonna say like, if this is like the first Oscars, like did anyone even care back then?
So it was probably, but I guess they just didn't. I don't know if there was any like existing film awards beforehand, but it feels as if they were like, do you want to do a film award? And everyone just went on board. All the studios were like, oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, it's not like
they definitely built up. I mean, it wasn't televised or
exactly, and all the stars go, and everyone goes, oh, they're at the Oscars.
Yeah,
this is what she's wearing.
I think the second Oscars is on YouTube, but the first one I don't think was ever filmed.
Oh, by the way,
it's literally like. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, by the way, every goddamn episode we do is going to be a surprise because I can't name the first like how many goddamn films won Best Picture, so I don't know any of them.
How many have you have you? Well, you've probably seen some. You've seen Birdman, haven't you? I'm pretty sure we talked about it.
I've seen
before.
Birdman.
And you've seen Parasite.
No, yeah, I've seen them, but I mean like how many? So what? We're on 1927, but when was the actual Oscars done? Was it 27?
It was in like 29. They did it like much
So I'm saying,
later.
have we got like fucking 70 films I've never heard of to get through first? Is that
there's 92 Oscars.
So that's what I'm saying. Every episode's gonna be a complete. I literally have no idea what the films are gonna be.
It's
yet.
gonna be a lot of decades, but I think that's exciting.
I know, I agree.
We haven't seen.
I think it is
gonna
exciting.
be more interesting than like the ones we've seen. I've seen all the like most recent 10, or like most of them. I haven't seen The Artist, that one which everyone says didn't deserve it at all.
I haven't seen.
The
I want
next
to see.
one I've seen is Casablanca. That's a great film.
I was trying to see Green Book because people tell me that one sucks, but then people tell me it doesn't
suck. I like Green Book. It's just because the message is like, it's just very on the nose. It's just like racism is bad, and we're like, ugh.
And he's like,
it's not really very.
I know everyone made a big thing.
One note.
Everyone made a big thing about like in the film they say he didn't like chicken because it was a stereotype, but then like in real life the dude just ate chicken because why would he not?
Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you a question about this film. What did you think about in the story the main character, the main protagonist? Did you like him? Did you think he was likable?
I liked him, yeah.
Jesus Christ!
I didn't like David very much.
Oh my
David
God!
Boring.
What are you talking about? I thought Jack was one of the most unlikable characters I've ever seen in my life. Like,
what was wrong with him?
What was wrong with him? What was wrong with him? Okay, I need to channel my thoughts here and get my thoughts out as accurately as I can. So, okay, I didn't even write. Oh no, here it is. I had my fucking notes like moves down so I couldn't see it. Okay. First thing, okay, he's got a good name. That's plus points. Jack. John. Do you know, Jack is his nickname. His name's John.
Yeah, because I know, they said John once at the end. I was like, who's John?
They said it in his...
yeah, it's because...
When they were... Do you know they were calling them back to the war as well? His name was
Lieutenant
I only
John
noticed
as well.
it
At the end.
Yeah, it was twice. So, you know, Jack's a good name. Pretty good. Starts off, they're working on the car.
Yeah. I quite liked that.
I liked the setup for the end about when you see a shooting star kiss the girl you love, and then at the end, that was really good. I really liked that at the end.
And the shooting star motif in general, I like how they went on his plane and it was.
Yeah,
that was quite nice.
That was a really good thing. I liked that. But first starts off, she hands him a paintbrush. Did you see that? This is just took me out the film completely. She handed him a paintbrush and he got paint on his hands. And did you see he spat on his hands and rubbed his hands together to clean paint off his hands? How insane is that? First I said, okay, I know that is the character thing. That was just like, what the hell am I watching? What am I looking at? Then well, how he treats Mary at the start, I think like it's so mad. Like he just completely just stone cold, just pars her off. Goes with the Sylvia girl. Sylvia shows him nothing.
Who is Sylvia?
Yes. But Sylvia shows him nothing other than, I like David. Oh, this picture's for David. And he just goes, cheers, Sylvia. I'll have that picture. Fuck you, David. Fuck you, Sylvia. I'll be taking that.
She should have just said, oi, no.
Yes. I feel like the love triangle between those three was so dramatic and forced. It was so forced.
Well, I know that, like, so it was definitely an issue how Sylvia was barely in it. But Mary, the only reason Mary's in it so much is because of the star who plays her. Like, Clara Bow was like her name on the poster is like pretty much bigger than Wings. Like, so it's because they called her the It Girl.
Yeah,
she was in the film It before.
Yeah,
it's not the one with the clown, but. So yes, she was like a big star, but I don't know why I didn't think anything of her.
I think she was.
People thought she was attractive and that, but like I just hate
she
that.
Was nice.
The style from back of the day is so ugly.
Yeah.
I don't think any woman is attractive before about 2000. Like they just, I think, maybe 2010. Like old style, you know, just the terrible. It looks.
Do you see 2010? Before 2010, you're just chatting there, man.
Like every aesthetic of the past is bad.
Yeah, it is pretty.
The aesthetics of the present aren't great.
Not great either, yeah.
But you look back and you're like, whenever anyone in the past in a movie says like she's the most beautiful woman I've ever seen, like, no, they just never are. And it's not a problem with the actress. I mean, like they make them, they do the hair and the makeup in the ugliest possible way.
Yeah.
No, the photo that photo she hands in looks fine. But
no, I thought she looked terrible in that picture. I thought she looked weird.
No, I thought she just looked like a regular person there.
Over there, I thought she was good.
In the others, like it just looks like it's not believable. Like they put her makeup on, and like Jack as well has like he looks like the Joker. He's
yes,
he's got so much mascara around his eyes.
He does. It's
like it's so unnecessary. I don't know why they did that. I can see you. I know. It's not like I just can't see your eyes. You don't look like Slender Man unless you've got like.
Goddamn.
I
felt it's so awkward how it's set up, because I remember the first time you see David and Sylvia, I'm pretty sure it's that swing shot. Do you remember, like, they're on the swing, and the camera's like on the swing, and then like Jack just comes up behind him, stops the swing, grabs Sylvia off and drags him into his fucking car, just stills the next to the car, and then like the next time we see them all together, so you think that's like a friendly thing, like they're all friends or something, like. It's so weird, and like the next,
because we don't know how much he knew her beforehand.
Yeah. Or David, like the whole thing is like they're supposed to be best mates.
Well, because they hate each other to start with, they're rivals, and then.
Yeah, but the only reason Jack dislikes David is because Sylvia likes David, and like that just makes Jack so unlikable to me. Like his whole thing is just a petty, but like. It says later that he doesn't even read, like, how, okay, this is so confusing, because, first off, the scene where, she's kissing the picture, and she's giving it to David, and then Jack comes and takes it, I had to rewatch that scene straight after I watched it the first time, because I was so confused who the picture was for. I didn't know which one of them it was for, honest to God. I thought it was for Jack, because Jack ended up with it, so I was like, oh, so she was like, giving it to Jack. Then I rewatched it, like, so Jack just comes in, takes the picture. She even goes like, no, this ain't for you. Oh, then she goes to David. I only let him because he thought it was for him. It was really awkward. I was like, okay. And so David knows there as well that Jack has the picture. And then throughout the whole film, he's like, oh,
I know, he acts like he doesn't know what. Yeah, that was just for conflict in the film. How he acts as if he doesn't know. That felt so weird
because it's so obvious what it is. It's a picture of your girlfriend, dude. You know that's what it is. Yeah. And I thought he just like. Was like, okay, but she already told me that it's not for her. It wasn't
for
him.
And he never took out. He never saw the message on the back.
And then,
but then again, these things seem really cliche. But you have to remember, this is like where it originated.
That's what I'm thinking.
I'm really like.
That's literally what I was thinking. It's a product of its time.
And all these stuff. Yeah. It's a simple story in that way. But like, it was. This
is probably one of the first times it was ever goddamn done. Like I was thinking. I don't know. Can I just jump to the end because it's a point.
I was going to say, speaking of first time things are done.
Yeah.
Should we carry? I was going to say
when he shoots him down at the end.
We talk about I was saying the love triangle stuff.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of debate. No one's like people aren't certain for sure, but it seems as if like it's meant to be that. It turns out that like Jack and David are like a gay couple.
Oh, there was so much gay vibes.
Because that's completely what. Like I literally completely like they kiss on the lips. I mean, and I looked it up to see if that was a thing which like Friends did back then, and apparently it wasn't at all. It wasn't. And so I think that that's what they intended. That like it was that. Because he clearly Jack clearly doesn't care about Mary. She's just a friend to him. Like
100%.
And then at the end, because the plot requires it,
that's what I didn't like. It's like after that middle bit with the bar scene, I was like, I do not want to see Jack and Mary together because Jack has completely disrespected Mary every way possible. Yeah. Like. She's there. He doesn't even recognise the bitch. She doesn't recognise her.
No, I know.
And she's just there, like, fondling after him. And then she gets kicked out of her job because, like, they thought she was, like, she banged him and, like, oh, you can't do that in the army.
Anything. Once she gets kicked out, like, they just don't really mention it again until
it's so weird.
She's just back home.
Yeah, it's so weird. I'm guessing that was just, like, they wanted her, like, driving around just to be in the film more, I guess.
But it was literally just to make her in the film. But I like that. It meant we got to know her as a character, and she's part of the love triangle.
That first person that interacts with her, because like she's been longing after Jack all this time, and Jack doesn't like her. And is that she's driving that car and she bangs into two people, and that person's like pretending to be really hurt, and he's like, oh no, I'm really injured, and she's there like consoling him. I was like, I root this person more to get with Mary than Jack, because Jack's a dickhead, and he shows her no emotion at all. That's literally how my thought was. It was. Yeah, go on.
But that's why. Okay, so you know that really impressive shot in the start of the second act where it's like going through loads of tables until it gets to his table and he's drunk.
Yeah.
It's going through loads of couples, which is like Ryan Johnson recreated in The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
There's like a theme. There's like loads of. They're all couples, and there's like
a
same-sex female couple.
Yeah. Oh, was it?
There's two women.
I thought there were two men. I couldn't tell what they were. I didn't want to watch
it. It's two women. So So basically, I'll give you some film history. this, and then the next 6 films we've got are called pre-code, which is before the motion picture code, which basically censored everything. So up until the 50s, you just couldn't show like gay stuff and like I watched Freaks recently, like stuff like that wouldn't be allowed, and like and no swearing, no nudity, like so. This was before then. It meant they could just do anything, and so that's why I feel like. Some people say like, oh no, they were just friends. I mean, they clearly did the ending as ambiguous because they didn't want to outright say that they would like a gay couple. But I feel like the fact that there's lesbians here is showing that the filmmakers are like okay with it. If you know what I mean, like it's kind of, I think it's like a nudge, wink, wink, like. Yeah. This is normal to us, and so you should be interpreting that later on.
2 gay moments in the goddamn film. That's 2 more than normal, like most films today. So
but that's the thing, like it feels like something you just it feels like a new thing, but it really wasn't. It's just because the motion picture code like just castrated the film industry, so we didn't get to see anything for decades, and so there's literally this sweet spot of like late 20s to 1934 is when you actually do get proper films like you get today where they just show anything. But no, I got the impression from the reason why they're fighting over Sylvia is not because they are actually in love with her. I kind of got the impression because she's meant to be like the pop. She's rich and she's like beautiful and stuff. They're just saying like, if I'm gonna have to pretend to be straight or whatever, I'll pick her. If you know what I mean. And then at the end, Mary, he's just like, oh, she's my friend. I like her as a person. I'll settle down with her. Nice. That's kind of what I got from it, and I think that's quite a tragic ending. But I mean, it works either way, even if they are.
I was gonna say
whatever.
I tell you, scene I hate. I tell you, never seen I hate. They get introduced to this white dude. What's his name? Do you know that like the first
Colonel
time?
White. Is Colonel White? No, Colonel White's from Captain Scarlet. What's his name? Something else. White.
It's like the first time they're like at like the flight school where like they can actually fly now. Like they were doing the training and then they go to this new bit, and there's this dude. He's like, oh yeah. It's the way that he's like takes a bite of the chocolate bar and it does 2 close-ups on this chocolate bar for no reason. Was that
Hershey's?
Was it a product placement? Is that why they did 2 close-ups on it?
Potentially, I don't know. I don't really know the history of product placement. It feels to me like it's quite it feels to me like it's the sort of thing that started in like the 80s maybe.
Yeah.
Because you do like lots of 80s movies to get a lot of product placement, like a big wave of it. But it's entirely possible it was.
Because in my notes, I literally wrote. Why a close up on the chocolate bar?
It was Hershey's. I remember it. Yeah.
And then, so that dude just takes a chocolate bar. Like he takes a bite, he tries to share it with them, and then he's just like, "All right, I'm off to do a figure of 8," and he just instantly crashes and dies. And then they have that little sad moment where they're like, "Oh, good old white. Oh, he's just died." I was like, "What's happening? What was this scene for? I'm so confused. We've just introduced this dude, and he just insta died."
That was Gary Cooper, who he went on to be quite big in Hollywood, and he's just in this, and he's like big, his name's on the poster and that. He's just in this one scene and dies straight away. It does feel like the whole cliche of like, right, he's a happy guy. Oh, I'm just off to do this thing. You feel like they're trying to give you some connection to him because they're just about to kill him off. And then, you know that is he Belgian? What was that guy? Herman.
Herman. Yeah, I was gonna say he just disappeared.
I loved him.
Yeah,
he was great, but he just vanished at the end. I don't know what happened to him. They didn't round off his arc, I don't think. Because I really enjoyed seeing it. Also, they were like, he was at cadet school. They were like, oh yeah, now he failed. He's an engineer now.
Yeah.
It felt like really. It felt like I know they were still writing when they started, and it feels like maybe that was a product of that. They didn't need another fly, but they did need an engineer character.
Yeah. And do you know that when they have that fucking they're boxing in the cadet school, I literally wrote, David's more likable. I want him to win the boxing. But do you remember they were going to blows trying to kill each other?
Boring.
David had. This is what I got from David. He's got a nice girl with Sylvia, and Jack's been a bit of a dickhead. But he's like, do you know what? I'm not gonna rise to it. He's nothing to me. Sylvia says it's all good. It's all good. And then we have no backstory to Jack. The only thing we have for Jack is Maris is next door neighbour, and he wants to be like a pilot.
And he's making a car.
David has the 2 parents.
David has his parents.
He has the
rich.
mom who's really worried about him. His mom was really worried, really dramatic, and he fell over a table. The dad, the tiniest teddy bear I've ever seen in my life.
I know. It was literally just the
rich family, and that's all they can afford, a tiny teddy bear. And then the mom was like, "This is your favourite toy as a child." It's like, what's wrong with you? It's tiny. And then you've got the dad. the dad in the wheelchair that's just like showing no emotion. I felt that scene, like when he's saying goodbye to his parents, I was like, oh, this is the emotion. I'm getting emotion from the scene, like just seeing how he's interacting with his parents as he's going.
You knew right away he was going to die, right?
100%, 100%. Like I knew, I know that's why it's happening. Like I know, and yeah, you knew he was gonna die, and then there was like a scene later where he's just like to Jack, oh yeah, bring back my stuff to your mom, like to my mom and dad. Like, oh okay, they're setting up David to die. Only thing I knew he was gonna die, but I was like, the thing I was most interested about.
I kind of did forget though. I feel like I kind of.
I knew he was dying.
It wasn't in the forefront of my mind for most of the film, and then when it was getting near the end, I was like, "Yeah."
I was watching the film.
They're gonna kill him off.
I was watching the film to see what happened with David, and I wanted Jack to die. That's literally I hated
well, that's the
Jack.
Thing. I thought they might pull a switcher and
yes,
make.
That's what
it was very obvious
for.
one of them was going to. I thought they might do a switch and make Jack die, but they didn't. But right, did you think that David just looked like Prince William?
Yeah, he did a bit.
Like a. Because I thought like, and he had the same sort of like complete lack of personality to me. He was just always stern, like no facial expressions really. And I don't know. I just thought he was very Prince William to me, and he was rich as well.
Wow.
He was alright, David. I just thought he was. Apparently, him and Jack, the actors, hated each other.
Wow, I agree with him. I hate Jack as well.
I kind of got that from their kiss. Like he looked like he was pulling away.
Yeah,
the guy playing Jack, I thought his acting was great in that scene when he was crying.
Yeah, but I got through the whole film that they didn't like each other at all. I didn't buy it at all. Yeah, that they liked each other. That's what I thought that was like a character thing. Like they're supposed to be fit. I just didn't get it.
They did go from rivals to best friends in like the course of a boxing fight for no real reason.
I get it if like they meet at the academy or something and like they don't like each other, but they should. The first time we're introduced to everyone, like I said, they're on the swing. He just comes over and robs Sylvia, and David's just there like with Sylvia, and he just robs her. And like they must know each other. They must have like some communication, or is Jack just a dickhead that just goes up and grabs the girl behind and takes her away? Oh my god.
I don't know.
I like oh yeah, no, the Germans agree with me. That Jack is a dickhead. Because do you remember David's machine guns fucking malfunction, and a German just goes, "In a bit, lad, enjoy yourself," and doesn't try and kill him. Do you remember this? Like literally, his machine guns stop working, and they just wave David off and go, "You go enjoy yourself." And then
because his plan was so dumb. How he was flying in a German plane into like up to the Americans. Like, of course.
No, that bit. No, early on to that. It was an earlier fight.
I thought, yeah.
His machine guns jammed when he was trying to kill some Germans, and it says like the knights of the air, like even like showed mercy or something. And they just wave David off. A German waves David off, and then they shoot Jack down. His plane crashes. He's there in a pit, and two planes are driving by trying to shoot him with a machine gun when he's already on the ground. And I'm just like, hey, the Germans agreed with me. Jack deserves to die, and David doesn't. Then you.
Yeah, that was so peak. How they was just like, the accuracy of that though. They were like getting right next to him.
Yeah.
I feel like it'd be quite hard to aim.
Something I really want to talk about is where I completely lost interest in the film for a good 30 minutes at least.
Are we going to talk about after the intermission then?
Yeah, after the intermission, like.
That was the worst part of the film.
Like
just the bubbles. I had no interest in those bubbles.
What was going on?
I didn't.
I was.
It felt like
so
I was watching
confused.
Peter Pan.
Yeah.
Like. Just those weird cartoon bubbles. I know that. I thought his drunk acting was terrible. Yes. It turns out he was drunk for real.
No wonder.
Like he'd never drank. He was 22. He was our age, and he had never drank before. And they got him pissed for the filming.
Just embarrassing.
And he actually was. But I thought he'd look like bad acting.
Yeah, no,
but I guess
same.
he has to. I guess he's still making it over the top because they kind of have to in a silent film. Welcome back, everyone. You've got Jack to blame, but we recorded the entire podcast. It was like 50 minutes long, and then he was just sending me the files, and he found out that he stopped recording. I don't know how long in, like 20 minutes?
20 minutes at the end, I've missed out, I'm pretty sure.
Yes. So, I have no idea what we've talked about and what we haven't. So, Jack, you lead this.
The last...
It's so frustrating.
Okay. I'm trying to remember in my head. I listened to the last thing we recorded, which was... I was talking about how the Germans agree Jack is a dickhead and they try and kill him and leave David alone. We've already talked that the bubble scene, the bar scene was bad, weren't we?
Okay.
We must have.
So we did... Okay. Did we talk about? Okay, in case we didn't, the scene with the bubbles is terrible.
Absolutely
and
awful.
It
ruins the whole film.
There we go.
Something we said was for the time, obviously it looks really, really good, and like
yeah, well, something which so basically this film also won the best engineering effects, which is like now it's just best visual effects, but back then it was just best effects basically. And so we agree that they look fantastic now, and they hold up like they look as
and
good
it's
as
definitely the best,
like as good as Dunkirk.
Best part of the film is the effects. It's the point to watch it. It's all the war
it's,
scenes.
It's just so real.
Yeah.
And it kind of stands out a bit though because that's all so real, whereas the just dialogue scenes are like Jack's basically a cartoon character.
Yeah.
They've all got loads of like mascara
and all this forced love rubbish that doesn't matter.
Yeah, and but the effects are brilliant. The planes and the bombs and all of the extras. And there was a shot where it's like an aerial looking down on like a whole town, and
amazing.
We were both like blown away by that because I thought at first it was like a model and maybe they like hand animated the people, but no, it was all real. It's brilliant. Just all the bits where they synchronize explosions and just it is fantastic, that stuff.
We have to talk about Jack killing David. I was saying
well, I mean, at the end of the day, the last 20 minutes of it, we were kind of like spreading out a lot of like we were rambling a lot, so I feel like maybe we can get it done a lot less time. But okay, let's talk about the.
Well, I was saying in 1927, like when I was watching it, I thought like the second I saw David getting into the German plane, I was like, oh, he's gonna get shot down by Jack. I was calling it out. But in 1927, I'm sure this is like the first time they ever saw something like this, and they'd all be like, oh no, don't shoot Jack. No, he's your friend.
Yeah.
Don't shoot him.
I mean, books existed. I mean, there were stories.
Yeah, but I mean, like
cliches and stuff weren't invented now.
And like I was saying,
but there are
the
certain
old thing,
film tropes.
People in this time would unironically get scared of like trains on the cinema, like on the big screen. They'd think the train was going to come out and hit them.
Not just the train when it's coming towards the camera.
Okay, yes, but still. Oh, so you agree with them? Yeah, train's pretty scary. It's on the screen coming at you. Oh no.
But but if they've never seen anything like that ever before, I completely get why things are shocking, and why like horror films we watched from the past are terrible, and back then people were just scared.
Like Psycho. Psycho. I love Psycho. It's a good film. But like that shower scene.
It's not scary though.
But that shower scene is like people talk about it's like the most graphic scene they've ever seen, and you literally don't see. You don't see the knife go into a body once.
Well, they say it's so horrifying because you don't see it, and that's why it's so tense. It's like, well, no, not really. I feel nothing watching that. And
wow, you're heartless.
Like Freaks I was watching recently, which is like a film about like a sideshow and it's real freaks, as it were. I was saying about how at that time there was a woman who watched it and she had a miscarriage, and she said it's because she tried to sue the studio for she said it was so traumatizing it made her have a miscarriage. And it's like,
that's
in films of PG, like
that's hilarious.
It's not that bad,
but not hilarious. But you know, it's
literally like she looked at a man with a hairy boy, or like a man with no arms and legs, and had a miscarriage. I feel like she might have been lying. I
was gonna say
to try and sue them. Or like be like, it was unrelated. But still, like people were nonetheless terrified, and apparently they were like running out of the theaters, like they're so scared. Whereas now we look back and it's quite pathetic. But so horror and that doesn't hold up. But at the end of the day, I feel like we got so numb to war. We got so numb to visual effects and just everything being fake that it just means nothing to us. Yeah. Sometimes you have to bring back why cinema was so successful is because it shows people things they've never seen before. And so like even when back then they see another country they hadn't seen before in real life, like if they hadn't left their country, you're suddenly seeing Africa and you've only ever seen pictures of it in a book or something. Like, so I get now films like Dunkirk and that, which are similar, like everything's real pretty much. Like it makes you feel something because it brings back, you're seeing something for real which you haven't seen before, your eyes haven't ever witnessed. And so if I could watch a war film which made now, and if it's just all fake, if it's all just CGI, I don't care. If I watch that Captain America: The First Avenger, like I don't care about any of the action set pieces. Like none of it means nothing.
They don't even have guns at the end. They have blue lasers and stuff shooting at like Captain America.
Well,
like,
Just, okay, well, what's an example of a World War film that's because like 1917 is. there's a lot of VFX. In fact, it won Best Visual Effects because you just don't notice them.
Yeah.
But they still did a lot for real. They still got thousands of extras in that. What's like an example of one that's just completely nothing now?
What, in a war film?
Yeah.
I don't know. I've the only war films I like the war films I've seen, but I've only seen like Dunkirk in 1917. Let me look at I've seen Fury. That's not practical. I'll tell you that much. Full Metal Jacket's really good, but I don't know how much of that is.
Well, I don't really like Vietnam films in general though, because they're always just American propaganda. I think.
Have you seen Full Metal Jacket?
Even this was a bit of propaganda. No, I haven't. No.
That's a really good film. It's it's Stanley Kubrick. It's really really good. But the bad thing about that film is the first half is so good. Like it's all in like the barracks and like training them. That is so good. So like when they actually get sent to like Vietnam and all that, it's actually like not as gripping as the barracks and all the training. All the best parts of that film is at the start. It's amazing. But it is really really good. I think that is my favourite war film. It's really good.
Yeah, I mean, I like some Vietnam. I like Tropic Thunder, although that's
not.
I mean, that's like a film about
a
film about. But I don't like war films on the whole when they're just propaganda pieces.
Yeah,
when it's just
I do.
Oh, we're the best country in the world.
No, yeah, I want to see. I want to see war is hell, and like you don't want to go there, and you don't want to be at war with a country because that's why I say like my point.
Anti-war film.
Yeah, a point I make.
That's like Kubrick's one. Oh fuck, what's it called? I've seen it.
I don't know.
That Kubrick one he did. He did like an anti-war film, and in fact, I think the third Oscar Best Picture is an anti-war film. Like ones like that, it makes sense.
Yeah.
But ones where it's like, oh yeah, America, let's go kill as many people as possible, and let's.
Because a thing I always make, I've made it in the recording that was lost. I think is like, I like it when they they portray the enemy soldiers as real people, humans too. Like I don't like I think this is a problem I had in 1917. I feel like every German they interact with is like, even like there was like a German kid,
well, there's
and like even he fucking like yells and like gets killed for it and all that. Like, but like I just like,
but I still think so. Yeah, I do agree they portray them bad. But they do. What they do good with 1917 is it's like trying to stop a massacre. It's not about glorifying the violence. Like the whole thing is to try and stop it. And then Dunkirk as well. It is like one of the biggest defeats of British history. It's literally just about saving their lives. It's not about fighting. It's like just trying to stay alive.
Yeah.
And again, like, but I mean, yeah. It's. I mean, I guess it feels kind of bad trying to.
We haven't talked about the masterpiece that's Pearl Harbor. We all love Michael Bay here.
I have. Yeah.
The ending, I don't know if it got recorded before. I did like the. It did about the shooting star, and then they had a good old kiss at the end.
Yeah. So the music was good, and there's a bit where it played like the Go Compare theme tune. It was like the Go Compare.
Yeah, okay.
Go
no,
compare.
You can't say it like that. Like the music of it, not
spirally moustache.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. So it didn't sing. It didn't try and sell me car insurance.
Yeah.
It was like.
That's what it sounded like.
It was that like I didn't realize that was like an existing piece of classical music until I heard it in this film, and it was very out of place. And did we talk about the product placement as well?
I think we did, but like just because I think
we did.
Yeah, because I was talking about White just insta-died, and then they did 2 close-ups on the chocolate bar for no reason. Like I didn't know if it was a product placement.
I don't know. So I think just in general, we think we both like the films.
Yeah, I liked it.
So it's hard to rate them because at the end of the day, if it came out today, yes, I mean like the war scenes would be fantastic, but like the plot and everything, like it wouldn't be Best Picture contender, definitely not. So it's kind of hard to like for the time. I know we haven't seen any other 20s films, but it seems as if like surely this is the best of the best. Like it definitely surpassed the quality we thought, because old films generally kind of just look like plays. The backdrop looks all painted and just everything's very fake, whereas this was all shot on location, all real. I mean, it looked no different to Dunkirk. It literally was no different to Dunkirk, because if you do it for real, it's going to be the same no matter when you do it.
That's true.
And so it surpassed our expectations, but it's kind of hard to rate just because we're based on the era or based on independent. I don't know. But I liked it. It was flawed, there was problems with it. But I think for considering the motion picture industry was still kind of, I mean, it was around for like 20 years, but they're still trying to find their feet and trying to work out what works and what
definitely
doesn't.
one of the biggest problems is the
was
length. I find there's so much that didn't need to be in there. Like,
it was long, but that's the same with loads of films. I mean, loads of old films you see, they walk into rooms, you see them walk out of rooms. You just see scenes do go on for a long time.
Like the middle scene where he's kissing every single person. They hadn't got
editing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a bit long, and I think obviously the bit in France was not only the most boring part, but it was kind of unnecessary because it was all meant to be make conflict with Mary, but in the end they just kind of forgive everything and forget it, and it all felt like it was kind of for nothing.
Yeah, the story doesn't matter; it's all the cool action war scenes. Watch it for that. Oh.
So do you want to round this episode off then? I mean, it was a bit of a shambolic first episode because we had to re-record half of it, and we were still trying to find our feet and all this. But we'll get better. We'll get better. Join us for the second episode. We'll improve.
Yeah.
And the next one is a musical. I've forgotten what it's called again. The
Broadway Melody.
Hang on.
Broadway Melody.
The Broadway Melody.
And it's got great reviews.
33% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Look at these. Look at all these beautiful reviews. 33% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. 20% audience scores.
But that
was it 2 points something on IMDb, Letterboxd. So it's going to be an absolute.
I feel like most Best Picture winners still people like them, even when people feel like it's a snub or like what's it called? The Artist, is it that French one? Was it 2010? Where like everyone said that I didn't deserve it. I think it's still got good scores, and like How Green Was My Valley, which beat Citizen Kane. Like everyone is like, okay, Citizen Kane should have won, but it's still a good film. I've never seen the Best Picture thing with 30%.
I didn't know Citizen Kane didn't win it.
No, How Green Is My Valley did. I've seen How Green Is My Valley. I thought it was pretty good.
Do you think it's better than Citizen Kane?
Well, we've got that. Yeah, potentially. I liked it. I think unpopularly, I actually probably do prefer it. Because Citizen Kane, right, we won't get to it, but we'll get to How Green Is My Valley. And maybe you can watch that before so we can compare and contrast. But see, the problem with Citizen Kane is it's so incredibly well directed, especially for the time. Like, it's so unlike any film you see in the way it's shot. Like, it's so modern in its editing and its camera positions and everything. And its storytelling, but at the end of the day, it's just a film about a guy who owns a newspaper company, and I don't really think that's very interesting. I don't know. What do you think?
I haven't seen it.
It's. I don't know. I know people always use whenever there's an example of like the best film ever, they say like, oh, it was good, but it's no Citizen Kane, like stuff like that.
I do really want to watch it, but like I've never.
There's better films.
Oh, of course. It's always a better film.
I watched Citizen Kane after I watched Baywatch. You know, like that new the movie with
double
the
feature.
Rock and, I did it literally. Like,
what is wrong with you, man?
Because I watched Baywatch because it was on Netflix, and then as soon as it ended, like, I felt as if my IQ had just like halved, and so I felt like I was brain dead. I felt like a caveman who was just
Did you watch the Zac Efron one, the newest one? Oh my god.
Yeah. It was like it insulted my intelligence to a degree that I was like, I'm sorry, but I have to watch Citizen Kane now. I've never in my life been like, I have to watch Citizen Kane. I've been
hilarious.
Like, I need to have a drink of water. I'm so thirsty, or I need to shit or something. But like, I've never in my life been like, oh my god, I have to watch Citizen Kane now just to reset my brain.
Nice.
And it was a better film than Baywatch, that's for sure.
Wow.
And then I watched How Green Is My Valley afterwards.
Nice.
So yeah, next up we've got that musical, The Broadway Melody. So apparently it's really bad. I haven't heard of any of the songs from it.
Well, maybe it could be in your favourite.
All right, well, join us then, I guess. Thank you for listening to this episode. Sorry it was a bit of a shambles, but we'll improve, I promise.
Maybe.
And join us as we watch all the films. Try if you want to watch. I think it would be nice if everyone like watched them with us, like once a week. Watch them, and then we'll, if people actually watch this, then comment, say what you thought of the film, and comment on what you think of the next film, and we'll mention. I don't know.
Correct your wrong opinions in the comment section.
Well, it would be nice if people do end up watching it. It would be nice to kind of have a sort of community thing. If it became like a club of like we're watching these films together and we get to discuss them as like a cinema club.
All right.
But yeah,
was fun.
Thank you for watching. See you next week.
Goodbye.